Coming into the first home series of the 2021 season, we wanted to put something together that was really special and looked forward to one of the big games from the weekend. So here we're giving you the Atlanta Faze versus Optic Chicago rivalry. This is a legendary rivalry that's gone on over the many years of Call of Duty, with them both battling it out for top spot over several years, and the storylines thrown up always being something that we refer back to in Call of Duty history. Looking very quickly at our own ELO rankings, you can see that at the end of the Modern Warfare season, Atlanta were your second place team and Chicago were your third place team. But then with the start of the Kickoff Classic, Atlanta suffered a loss, Chicago got a big win, and it's flipped that. Chicago are currently your favoured team. I mean, according to our win expectancies, they are the 53% favoured side, with Atlanta Faze being the other 47%. So it's still a very tight game between what is expected to be two giants of the season. Breaking down the teams, you've got the AR battles in Arcitys for Atlanta and Formal for Chicago. Now, Formal looked absolutely fantastic on the Kickoff Classic and has done throughout the start of the season. Arcitys is a little bit slower in the Kickoff Classic, but looking back over last year's stats, you would say that Arcitys was the slightly stronger player in hard points, whilst Formal was slightly stronger in your search and destroys and domination. Obviously, the third mode has changed to control this time, but we still got to take into account that it was probably Formal who was the slightly better adjusted player. Obviously, these two were both playing for the same team last year, so that's a difficult one to judge. But overall, it's a tough one to call between these two. Some fantastic AR presence on the map, but I do feel like Formal has just shown the slightly better start to the year than Arcitys. When we move on to the flex roles, we're talking about Dashy on Chicago and then Cellium on Atlanta, and I think this one is all about how Dashy does. For me, Cellium's a very consistent performer, seems to always do quite well, is involved in the big moments all the time. He's just a good player, one that you can typically rely on, whereas Dashy is extremely volatile. This one lies very heavily on how Dashy does. If Dashy comes out and absolutely smashes it, this is going to be very difficult for Cellium to keep up. Moving to the SMG duos very quickly then, and we've got Scump and Envoy, or Envoy, depending on how you pronounce it, over on Chicago, and then Atlanta it is Scump and Abezy. That sub-duo of Scump and Abezy are fantastic in the hard points. They have some insane chemistry and they have a really good pace that a lot of teams can't really handle. But on the Chicago side, you have a team that's seen Envoy absolutely pop off for the start of the year. Scump's obviously one of the most legendary SMGs ever to touch Call of Duty. I don't think there's a better SMG duo for search and destroy. If I'm going to try and predict this one, I honestly think it sits on the individual strength. You're probably looking at the hard point duo being Simp and Abezy, whilst S&D being Scump and Envoy, and then whoever takes that control in the middle, well, we're just going to have to wait and see. One of the things that we highlighted in our previous discussion around Faze is that they seem to end up in two groups of two. It seems to constantly be this duo of Simp and Abezy doing one thing and Cellium and Arcitys doing another. There are individual moments where that looks quite good, but a lot of the time you're asking to be cut open there by an opposing team. I feel like there was a massive disconnect and Florida exploited that massively, and they need to avoid that against a team with the quality of Chicago if they want to go on to win. As part of this preview, we wanted to show you a play from both teams that kind of show the strengths of each and how that might go down throughout the game. With Atlanta, we're turning back to the Kickoff Classic with the Florida Mutineers, and we want to talk about their big hard point comeback in map 1 on Garrison. Coming into this one then, and Atlanta are about 70 points behind Florida towards the business end of the match. Basically, they need this hill to go really well, otherwise it's curtains for them, and even if it does go really well, they're only just getting back in touch with Florida. So it's a really important moment for them. P5 breaks, and this is a hill that is usually very hotly contested. It's a bit everywhere. You never expect it to take a lot of the time, and Atlanta actually take nearly a full 60 here. In wave 1, what they do is they take the full control of top green and that side of the map in order to avoid the chance of a pinch or a flank from Florida. They know that if Florida were to get through that top green and down through brick, it would cause them a lot of trouble in holding onto the side. So what they do is they commit all their eggs to one basket, set up on that side, and force Florida to attack them from the front. Okay, we know where you're going to be. Can you outgun us? Can you break us on this? Florida fail, and then we rotate into wave 2. Now, wave 2 is a really weird one because the spawns actually flip. Even though Atlanta play this completely fine, and there's no actual movement really to suggest that these spawns should change, you do get Florida spawning in the favored side on that back end near the tanks. They then end up with a pinch that is catching Atlanta in the crossfire. They get a couple of shots in the back, but then the communication and the ability to pivot on the spot is absolutely fantastic. Simp makes a huge individual play over by Lights, something that, you know, goes down as individual gun skill. It's his ability to not only get in and out of Lights and then drop back into the hill and tuck into that corner, but his teammates' ability to react to the situation and then shield him and allow him to absorb the hill time is what is absolutely huge here. They stay calm under a ridiculous amount of pressure, and this is what gives Simp everything. It's wave 3 then, and while Simp continues to hunker down in the point, Arcitys puts himself in a lovely spot on top of the mid tanks, on top of that bridge area, to control everything that might hit Simp from that tank area, whilst you've got Cellium also trapping in from top crate out on the side, and then Abezy pushes up into brick, just basically saying that the only thing that should come at you, Simp, is going to be at the front. I'm going to be able to call it nice and early. Anything else is going to have to come through us and keep the pressure away. They then rotate perfectly into the next hill, then go on to win from here. And it's this ability to just completely flip games on their head, keep calm under that overwhelming pressure that makes them a force at any given moment. They also show incredible resiliency and communication to show just how difficult they can be to break once they have got a hold in place. Moving over to the Chicago play. It is Chicago Optic versus the Los Angeles Thieves, and Chicago have absolutely run away so far with this series. They're 2-0 up and we're coming into the third map, Control. Raid is known in Control for being extremely flip-flappy. You end up with a team basically all pushing A, and then they defend it, and then everything rushes to B, and it's this constant back and forth, and it's constantly about which team better controls the middle of the map, as well as which team is really good on rotation. If you're weak on rotation, this is a nightmare of a map for you, but Chicago here operate it really, really well with a lot of individual skill from Envoy. Chicago start out by sending 2 to A, 1 to B, and then 1 through the middle in Envoy. And it's actually Envoy who causes a lot of the problems for the Los Angeles Thieves here, and it's him who we want to highlight going into this. Chicago are quickly overwhelmed at B, but win the gunfights at A. Recognizing that B is under threat, they know that they have to send the full team there, and it's actually Envoy's play that makes this happen. Plays through bottom arc, cuts off the entire side of that map, and it means that not only are Los Angeles Thieves under a lot of pressure when they're coming out of the hill and therefore having their attacks completely split, but also he can then provide the information if anyone does slip by him or he loses the gunfight that, hey, we need to go back to A, and therefore giving the rest of his teammates the heads up. Individual skill aside, to win these gunfights and put himself there, it also gives his teammates complete peace of mind to defend B, set up, get in your positions, and do not worry about the rotate just yet. Keep yourself nice and solid, and they do just that and keep LA Thieves in an absolute locker of pain. Not completely satisfied with himself, once he's managed to cause a lot of problems throughout that gym and parking garage area, he then rotates up into top mansion and picks off a couple of people who are still on B, supporting his team right through to the last. He then realizes that A is back open, and he goes and causes even more trouble back through their spawn. By the time Envoy actually goes down, LA Thieves only have 40 seconds, they've not capped a single point, and they're about 7 lives down. It is a ridiculous play, one that we really wanted to show right here. The last thing for me to give then is my prediction, and I'm going with a Chicago 3-2 victory. I think that it's going to be really tight across the respawns, and they're really hard to decide either way, but I think the extra S&D power that Chicago look like they have will carry them over that line and set them up really, really well after this first weekend. Anyway guys, that is everything from me. This is the first time that we have done a pre-event analysis on this channel. Did you enjoy it? Did you think there were some things that we missed and you wanted us to delve deeper into? Do let us know in the comment section below. Hit a thumbs up, it'd be lovely to break 20 likes, and then a subscription as well would be absolutely massive. We continue to roll forward at the minute, and we are so stoked that you guys are enjoying our content. Anyway guys, until the next time, take care, enjoy your home series, and enjoy your Call of Duty. All the best.